Before we get started, just a quick note, spoiler alert.
And we are adults, and I will try very hard not to use adult language, but this is the warning.
Oh my gosh, she's so loud. So loud in my ear. Man, okay. Hello and welcome back to Fright Bites. My name is Jennifer.
And I'm Sadina. Each episode, we will feature a short story or novella. You can read along with us by finding the full reading list posted on our website, lastlibraryonTheLeft.com, or our social media at LLOTL Podcast.
And today we are reviewing Threshold by Sharon Webb. It was published in 1982 by Sharon Webb, so kudos to her for self-publishing.
Nice.
Yeah, so the summary is just a basic summary that I wrote because you can't find these summaries on Goodreads, but this is nice and short. Jean has an overbearing mother and talks to her while keeping up with Cody, a gorilla, who is like a child to Jean. And I just wanted to keep it kind of general because I think that's all that you need.
Yeah, the seriousness of it that's just part of the story. Like, you don't want to ruin that with the summary.
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin the story in just the summary, which I think I've done it with a couple other ones, but some of them have been fun and needed that ruination, but this one doesn't. So this is another short story from the 100 hair-raising little horror story. I can't remember the title.
100 hair-raising little horror stories.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, where's the little? I don't know where the little is. Is it in the beginning or the middle? So I'm going to let Sadina lead this discussion because I didn't write down specific. You know what? That's becoming a thing for me with the 31 days. I haven't been writing notes. I've been enjoying the stories.
Which is good because I feel like that's kind of bringing you back to how you originally consumed horror when we first started the podcast, is that you just kind of went with the flow. But I think that you went through a period, a phase where you felt you had to sit and analyze it, but I'm not sure you were enjoying it as much.
You know what? Maybe it's because I was analyzing myself and not just analyzing the book or whatever it was that we were consuming. I was analyzing myself within the story that was being told, and maybe I just don't need to do that and just use it as an escape regardless.
No, you do. I mean, you should still analyze yourself a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, we're gonna get into that later. Trust me, we will, because I have the notes that I'm prepping now for Your House is on Fire, Your Children All Gone.
Okay.
I have a lot of notes for that one.
Okay, because I still firmly believe that horror, yes, it's an escape and it's great and blah, 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 but I still firmly believe that there are aspects that I have had some very serious conversations with myself with some of these books. So y'all are going to have a nice couple of episodes in a row where I'm going to have some deep thoughts. So have fun.
That's what horror is?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
That's why you're here, right? Okay.
Anyways,
that tangent now aside, we'll go ahead and set up Threshold because I actually did really enjoy this one. Yeah. I didn't feel as if I'd been misled like I felt with some of the others.
Yeah.
In fact, my very first note is I think I like this one based on just the first page because oh my God. And Sharon Webb, thank you.
Yes.
Because I feel like this could not have been written by a man. They just wouldn't understand.
They wouldn't.
Especially that conversation with her mom.
Oh my God.
The tired conversation, especially once we're in our 20s and 30s, which, by the way, the 20s should not be when we're having that conversation. We shouldn't be having this conversation at all, by the way.
Exactly, ever.
At all. But the tired conversation that women get from their well-meaning relatives or asking about when they will fulfill their womanly duties in their future, it's not cute.
It's not.
It's exhausting.
At all. You know what? It's not exhausting. It's annoying. It's frustrating. It's maddening. It's sickening. It's none of your damn business if I choose to procreate or not. And
it's demeaning.
Yeah. I'm glad that my mom was not like that. When I told her I was pregnant, she ran and got a drink because she was like shocked. She did. She ran and grabbed a beer. She was eating and she stopped and she ran and grabbed a beer and she was like, what? And my dad thought I was joking.
Wow.
Because I was 30 when I got pregnant. And I remember talking to my mom afterwards because I joke about it all the time. And she's like, I just was resigned by then that y'all weren't having kids, that was fine. I wasn't going to be a grandparent. I was like, okay, great. And then my sister popped one out the year after.
Wow.
But yeah, so I'm blessed to say my mom was never like that. She did ask me once if I wanted to have an arranged marriage after high high school? And I said no. And she said, okay. And that was it. She never pushed it.
Wow.
Because that's a thing in our culture. And
Mhm.
I was just very glad. But I've witnessed so many people. They did it to my baby sister. They're like,
Mm.
you know, you're in your 30s. You need to start thinking about family and if you want to have a kid and stuff. And it's like, bro, she don't need to do shit. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Let her live her life. She happy. Listen, she just gets to spend her money on herself. Meanwhile, I am struggling to spend money on this kid. Jesus Christ.
It's so infantilizing of the
Mhm.
person's, not only their adulthood and their autonomy, but it also, so my mom never really harped on me about getting married or having relationships or children or whatever. She was fine as far as I'm aware. But I have other family members who have told me in no uncertain terms that I just don't know what it's like. Okay, y'all, I'm so tired of those conversations, because at least I think why I get so offended in my particular instance is because not only is it diminishing my own adulthood and my own choices, but it diminishes my mom's accomplishments as a caregiver to raise independent adults. That's offensive to me because she's not here to defend it. She's not here to defend me. And so it's like you're saying, oh, because Sedina hasn't gotten a partner, hasn't had a child, hasn't done whatever, she pursued her education instead. That's like you're saying that my mom did something wrong by supporting my choices. And she did not.
No, she didn't. My God.
So I found this very exhausting to read this conversation and was just like, oh my God.
It was so crazy. Okay, so on TikTok, there's a sound and it's someone's phone just blowing up, like ringing and stuff and notifications. And the captions are always like, my aunt asking me, what are you going to do with your life? Or that man's no good for you. And the person responding like, yeah, but neither is the man you're cheating on your husband with. Right? Like, and so whenever someone says, I just want to respond that way. And again, they never do anything to me because I have the child, right? So it's okay. I've been swept under the rug because they could pay attention to the child, which is fine with me. Don't give me the attention. Give it to her. She wants it. In your case, send them to me and I will tell them those things. I want to start the fight. And no one asks men that. When are you going to settle down?
Although, you know what? No, because they ask my poor cousin all the time. This poor man. Yeah. Y'all, my family has gone to some gross extents to try to get my cousin hooked up with someone. I feel for the poor man. Whatever. Anyway, so back to the story.
Yeah. We are just full of tangents on this one. My goodness.
I just had so much to complain about after reading this one.
Yeah.
But the story was good. So Jean works at a facility where she is helping primates learn sign language. And it's part of research and grants and stuff. It's about her career. And her primate is Cody. Cody's a gorilla. And there are these lines of Cody signing sporadically put in the first page or so of this short story without context. And so when you finally get context, they're really devastating. So Jean gets into work one day and her boss, David Copeland, is in the enclosure with Cody and he accuses Cody of lying. He tells Jean she's lying again. And all you see is that there is a rabbit cage with Amanda. I'm sorry, because I know you like rabbits. There's a rabbit cage in Cody's enclosure and the rabbit cage has been pried open and the rabbit is dead. And according to David Copeland, Cody got the rabbit out because it was new to the enclosure, was curious and played with it, but played too hard and killed it. And he's trying to explain to Cody, you killed it. It's dead. That's bad. And Cody doesn't understand. And so he tries to teach her the concept of what death is. And when she finally gets it, he then tells her that she's bad because she killed the rabbit. It was just all this stuff. And my note is just, I hate David Copeland. Why? Because I don't understand. Why beat this idea of death into the ground with the gorilla? It seems cruel, especially since we know that gorillas do understand death. That's something I didn't fully get, because if anybody here remembers Coco, the gorilla who also had sign language and had a kitten, Coco was devastated over the loss of her kitten when she found out the kitten had been run over by a car. Coco was inconsolable. And David Copeland is like, ugh, it was so frustrating because then like now Cody's depressed.
Yeah.
She's so depressed. She keeps telling Jean
like
that
she's bad.
Yeah. Cody keeps telling Jean, Cody bad. And I was like, that's
So that part really, that one really triggered me because as a caregiver, one of the things that I consciously try to teach my kid and my nephew is that they're not bad. They make bad choices because I want them to know the difference of you're a great kid, but there are good and bad choices. And so this triggered me because parents today, they'll still say, no, 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 don't do that. You were being bad. You know, it's like, no, 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 no. They're testing the waters and they're trying to discover the world and they just made a bad choice. It's our responsibility to teach them to make a better choice. The whole bad Cody part really hurt my heart.
Well, and I have a very specific issue with good versus bad to begin with, as far as behavioral concepts, because if you tell people there's only the duality, good or bad, then on the days when you didn't make the good choice, you're now bad. It's as if it completely wipes the slate clean and you have to start over. And trying to teach that to Cody the gorilla was not fair on David Copeland's part either, because that duality of good versus bad, the gorilla doesn't, especially when you're communicating where you don't have a shared, it is a language for them to communicate, but there's nuances,
right?
You know, just like death had to be explained to Cody. Now she only knows good or bad. She doesn't have the nuances in between. There's so much weight and trauma that coincides with developing minds, with the idea that they have to live up to expectations of what is good, because if they're not, then they're bad.
It's just not a good way of like explaining choices.
No. And if you think about it, when I was growing up, the more I came to internally understand that I was impulsively more like my father than I was my mother, I thought that was bad and that automatically made me bad like he was, because I didn't understand the nuances yet. And it wasn't until I was listening to another adult talk about their attempts to live outside the shadow of their caregiver who was abusive. They were like, I try, I'm not good, but I'm not bad either. Just every day I'm a little better than I was before. And I was like, yeah, that's all I need to be thinking about, is that as long as I'm trying, I don't have to be good, but I don't need to be bad either. I just need to be a little better than I was the day before, which gives you some space to slide backwards and make mistakes. But it also gives you lots of room for growth, where if you're labeled good, you don't have any room for growth.
See, and I kind of disagree a little bit. The only reason I say it is because I think that the kids start off good. Maybe good is not the right word I'm using. They start off pure and innocent. And I don't want to corrupt them in a way. And I don't want to affect their innate responsibility of thought and action and problem solving by using the word bad, because I want them to see that they have the power of choice.
See, and that's why I don't like the use of good, because if the opposite of good is bad, then if you tell someone that they're good, at least in my head when I was little, I internalized this idea that if I wasn't constantly living up to good, then I was bad and I was not worthy.
I think we're coming to the same, I'm using the wrong word.
Which is not your fault. That's the other part of this, is that language is such a shitty container for nuance, which is what drove me crazy about David Copeland, because he was beating this thing to death. Sorry. Over the idea of death. Also, I suspect, because there was a throwaway sentence in this story, James had this moment where she was thinking, did he do this on purpose just to have this part of the research get published where he got to show and express a new concept to Cody at the risk of her mental health or emotional health? And I was thinking like, okay, yes, the bars were pried open like a gorilla, but did he kill the rabbit? Because he was there. He was there super early. And he was able to get there before Jean in order to ensure that he had control of the situation and the conversation.
I mean, I mean, that wasn't a throwaway sentence at all, because you picked up on it and I totally didn't. But that tracks.
She was talking about their facility and how they ran completely on grants, and that part of their research was not getting the momentum it used to, and how she felt she had to defend her career choices to her parents because it didn't have the same momentum it did when she first started there. She even made a comment that in her initial interview with this guy, that he was very dry, very straightforward. It's all about the research. And so I began to suspect that David Copeland killed the rabbit because he accused her of lying. You don't know what the conversation was in the very beginning between him and Cody because it's not translated for you. But he was having a conversation in sign language with Cody before Jean walked in, and Cody kind of was frustrated with him. She like turned away and she like huffed and wouldn't make contact with him. And he told Jean, he interpreted to Jean without any context, she's lying. And it made me suspicious.
I mean, because he was suspicious. We've seen him in our workspace. We've seen him in real life. Like, we know this character, David David Copeland.
Mhm.
So, oh yeah.
The way that Cody reacted to, especially if she didn't kill the rabbit herself, because
Mhm.
animals are not dumb. They know what death is because they have to survive. They have predators.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that Cody killed the rabbit, because I think that if she had accidentally killed the rabbit, an imitation of mice and
Mhm.
men, that she would have known that's what death was. And that
Yeah.
because the rabbit was killed by David without her notice or her knowledge, she didn't understand the concept. And now she thinks that she somehow had something to do with it. So she is back. Girl, I got real messed up over this story because I think David Copeland is a monster.
Oh my God. So I've hyper focused so much on the relationship of Cody and Jean as caregiver child that I threw him away. I was like, whatever, dude. Who needs you in this book? Go away.
You're not wrong, though, because that was a very clear, intentional literary parallel to create between the conversations with her parents and her mortality and childhood and potential for motherhood and all that stuff versus her relationship with Cody.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was terrible.
It was so terrible. Very good. Very sad.
Mhm.
So, like I said, I hyper focus on Jody and Cody, Jean and Cody. Did they say that Cody means helpful in the book?
Oh, I forgot. They did say what Cody meant, but I forgot what it meant.
It means helpful. Cause like, did I look that up or why did I write that down? That's so sweet. But one of the things that I wrote was that there is this association between females who have pets as kids and versus adults who have kids as kids. And oh, you have a pet and you take them to doggy daycare. That's not the same as, me taking my kid to daycare. But I'm like, it is. I had a lady who we were both at the same time. My daughter was in daycare and her dog was in daycare. And we paid the same amount of money for our.
Oh, really?
And I was paying $225 a week. She paid the same.
Oh my God.
And it was so that her dog could have the proper care. And I was like, I get it. Dogs aren't even around as long as kids.
Yeah.
So I don't ever judge someone who's like, I have 2 fur babies.
$225 a week times 4. Y'all were paying rent.
Yeah. At one point, I was literally just working to pay daycare fees.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
It's more expensive now because to have Aurora in daycare during the summer was $275 a week.
Also, I want to point out, I am not diminishing the childcare prices at all. Like, I am well aware that nannies, au pairs, caregivers that come in, not diminishing that at all. I know people who are professional nannies. You deserve that pay. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it as someone who pays that for rent already and can barely survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I do with a child.
I mean, because it was so much. It was like, oh my God. I mean, it was insane. So I think about that whole thing about like the fur babies and, oh, you don't know what it's like to be a parent because you don't have kids. Those aren't real kids. I'm just like, they are to them. And, I love animals. And when they die, my mom does not want an animal in the house because the family dog passed away a couple years ago. And I completely get it because the family dog was there when all the kids were born. He was there for so many things and he was a part of us. So, I mean, I kept thinking about that. I wanted to bring it up and be like, just shut up if you're going to judge. That whole saying, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Go and listen to that and follow that.
Anyway, whatever. We should probably go, guys. So
Yeah.
we will talk to y'all tomorrow.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye. If you liked listening to us ramble on about horror, subscribe to our podcast and tell your friends. And if you would like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram or Facebook at LLOTL Podcast.
Check out our website by going to lastlibraryontheleft.com. Be sure to visit our About Us page to discover our 2 truths and a lie. Or, if you'd like to send us an email, you can reach us at somethingwicked@lastlibraryontheleft.com.